Chapter 2, Part 2. The divine supermind is always present in all substances in which it produces an effect of transmutation. The substances and the divine supermind existing in them establish the three worlds. The substances and the divine supermind animate and move in those worlds, creating the movement of each world. That means the divine supermind penetrates in all transmutations. The transmutations continue until Qi produces liquid, in which the divine supermind still operates. In their turn, Qi and liquid motion and form the natural world, the visible world, of which the movement holds within itself the divine mechanism, the divine character, and the divine cause. The heaviest substance of all that earlier formed the natural, supernatural, and supernatural movements is the soil. From the ground, the soil produces vegetation and other heavy physical substances, such as stones and minerals. In gradual evolution, the minerals become heavier and denser, and inside of them, atoms increase in quantity. The soil engenders numerous substances, but it has no ascendant transmutation, although it contains transmuted substances, namely the light, electric, qi, and liquid. By the constitution of the soil, which contains all four substances with their character and character's energy that can be transmuted, the cycle of descendant transmutation is accomplished on the planet. Then it enters the cycle of ascendant transmutation. The last movement is formed, called the natural movement. The Earth and any other planet that is composed of the four above-mentioned substances are still in the period of descendant transmutations. Any planets that have only three substances, namely the light, electric, and qi, in activity, are in their ascendant transmutations. Liquid has transmuted into qi, electric, and light. Therefore, these planets have no liquid, and their speed of rotation slows down. In those planets that are composed of only two elements of electric and light, their qi and liquid were already transmuted to electric and light. They rotate very slowly and seem almost immobile. Their soil, meaning heavy substance, begins to dissolve when the ascendant transmutation of their qi and liquid has completed. All planets that are composed of three or fewer substances have started their cycle of ascendant transmutations. The Earth, being in the cycle of descendant transmutations, has all three natural, supernatural, and supernatural movements. These movements animate both within and around all of the three natural, supernatural, and supernatural, or visible, supervisible, and invisible, respectively, worlds. The soil contains all four transmuted substances that animate, intercommunicate, mix together, and create a great number of states, forms, and shapes with their own structures and appearances, caused by the infinite combinations of the four substances and the soil. In other words, the Earth infinitely engenders a greater amount of visible, supervisible, and invisible creatures than any other planet, because the other planets have been in their course of ascendant transmutation, and as such, they only have the creatures formed by qi, electric, and light, or by electric and light. These are invisible and supervisible creatures. The Earth is actually in the last period of the descendant transmutation of the cosmos in the natural movement, the movement of qi and liquid in descendant transmutation. Start of footnote. Qi and liquid are now in descendant transmutations. As such, creatures containing qi and liquid still reproduce until liquid starts its ascendant transmutation into qi, electric, and light. During this ascendant transmutation, the level of waters in oceans keeps lowering and its volume keeps reducing. By then, the Earth will be in the last period of its descendant transmutation, when its rotation will become slower and man's life then will become longer. And a footnote. The Earth animates in the natural movement, thus it has time and space. In their motion, intercommunication, and animation, all substances form movements. Each of these movements functions in its corresponding world with the divine super-mind animating within them. Or, in other words, thanks to the influence, omnipresence of the divine super-mind in each world and in all animating substances, the substances animate and transmute to become energies or powers, and inserting in them the divine super-mind changes in character to become the divine mechanism, the divine character, and the divine cause of the cosmos. Then, having been inside the substances, those divine mechanism, character, and cause constitute the movement of each world. The descendant and ascendant transmutations of substances originate from the movements. In summary, the divine super-mind intervened in the three worlds. All substances in the three worlds animated, intercommunicated, forming the movements which created the two functions of descendant transmutation and ascendant transmutation. The supernatural movement itself transmutes in two ways. The function of descendant transmutation engenders the supernatural movement, and in its turn, it produces the natural movement. Conversely, in the function of ascendant transmutation, the natural movement changes to become the supernatural movement, which transmutes to the supernatural movement. Descendant transmutations and ascendant transmutations are persistent. The separate descendant transmutation is the cause of birth and death, or production and destruction. The two transmutations are the miraculous functions which have been realized by the divine super-mind through the formation of the cosmos. They maintain the life and the creation in the cosmos. In the process of the two functions, the stars, the planets, and all supernatural, and natural phenomena are formed. At the end of their cycle of descendant transmutations, they continue their evolution by following the cycle of ascendant transmutations. Their progression increases the life and the life powers in the cosmos, and these cycles of transmutations continue eternally. The formations of stars, planets, and other phenomena did not happen at the same time because of their different processes of movement. Each star was formed at a different step of the movement. So did the formations of the planets, and so does the ascendant transmutation. A certain number of stars have started their ascendant transmutation for a long time. Others have just begun. Still, another considerable number of stars have disintegrated, while some others are either still having their fundamental nature formed with electric as their basis, or still having their atmosphere, or qi, formed around their foundation composed of yang and yin electric currents. The divine mind catalyzed into the original substance, the light, and generated the two persistent transmutations. The light, meaning the life, engendered the other substances, namely electric, qi, and liquid. Having the same qualities of descendants and ascendants transmutations, these four substances exist eternally. But despite their qualities of two ways of transmutations, without entering in or in lack of the movement, the cosmic movement or the divine movement, they cannot be transmuted into another cosmic movement and or another cosmic world. Start a footnote. Humans on the earth or living beings on other planets get the power to create things from the four substances that exist around the earth or other planets, but without the original qualities of two-way transmutations, these man-made things cannot enter the cosmic movement. And a footnote. A cosmic movement must contain in itself the divine mechanism, the divine character, and the divine cause. Substances created by man may have the transmutability in the divine mechanism, but lacking the divine character and the divine cause, they remain imperfect and cannot get into cosmic movements. In the cosmos, descendants and ascendants transmutations are miraculous functions. Thus, all substances, namely the light, electric, qi, and liquid, continue to exist, having the transmutable qualities, whereas anything that carries these substances must disintegrate. Start a footnote. When a person dies, his liquid, meaning blood, is transmuted into qi, electric, and light, all of which spread out and persists for a certain time in the three worlds. Meanwhile, his flesh body, which contains the substances, disintegrates. And a footnote. The substances that are heavier than light, electric, qi, and liquid, and are not engendered by the cosmic movements, transmute only in descendant way. They accrue to their maximum, then decrease gradually into disintegration. In other words, those substances come into existence and then into destruction without being able to transmute ascendantly, even though they contain one or more than one of the four substances capable of ascendant transmutation. When the four transmutable substances detach from their carrier, the latter disintegrates little by little into destruction. This phenomenon takes place in the cycle of ascendant transmutation of substances and in the cosmic movement. Existing in the three movements, namely supernatural, and natural movements, the four transmutable substances animate in the cycle of descendants and ascendant transmutations. They have both the life power and the life itself, but other substances that are heavier than them, such as soil, stones, metals, possess only life's power without the life. Those life's powers increase to their climax, then begin to regress, and finally disintegrate. Having the quality of ascendant transmutation, substances such as light, electric, qi, and liquid that are inserted into life's powers progressively detach from their degenerating carrier. Any substance that transmutes only in descendant way will dissolve in the end, after being engendered and evolving. But the four substances of light, electric, qi, and liquid transmute infinitely in both ways. Not to mention the light itself, the three other substances of electric, qi, and liquid all contain the light. They have both life's powers and the life. Their life's powers increase throughout their descendant transmutations, and at the same time, the life inhabiting in their life's powers also increases. This is the miracle of the function of descendant transmutations of the four substances. In ascendant transmutations, when the life's power of any substance that has the capability of two-way transmutations transmutes into a lighter substance, the life of the transmuted substance also transfers into the life's power of the new other substance. For example, when liquid transforms into Qi, the life's power of liquid unifies with that of Qi, which then remains full and intact. Meanwhile, the life existing in the life's power of liquid also moves in the life of Qi. The miracle of the two transmutations is to increase both the life's powers and the life of the substances that have the capability of two-way transmutations. This miracle is revealed in the cycle of descendants and ascendants transmutations of a planet composed of the four essential substances. The descendants transmutation of a planet. Under the catalysis of the divine super mind, from the original light comes the yang light and yin light. From the yang light and yin light come the yang electric and yin electric, forming the core of the planets. From yang light and yin light come yang electric and yin electric. Then come yang qi and yin qi, constituting the atmosphere. From yang light and yin light come yang electric and yin electric, plus yang qi and yin qi. Then comes yang liquid and yin liquid, constituting the soil. The ascendant transmutation of a planet is as follows. From yang liquid and yin liquid come yang qi and yin qi, plus yang electric and yin electric, plus yang light and yin light, while yang qi, yin qi, plus yang electric, yin electric, plus yang light and yin light remain. From yang qi and yin qi come yang electric, yin electric, plus yang light, yin light. So yang electric and yin electric plus yang light and yin light remain. From yang electric and yin electric come yang light and yin light. Only light remains. The yang light and the yin light are the only remaining substance after the complete destruction of a planet, and they return to the supernatural world. The light, having been already increased through the descendants and ascendants transmutations of other substances, now returns to the cosmos. Thanks to this, the light of the cosmos increases, and the cosmos aggrandizes. The divine super mind and the creatures. In the four transmutable substances, yang and yin always animate. Yang and yin always exist and will continue to exist in the infinite cycle of transmutations of the four substances. It is the liveliness of the original life which was catalyzed into by the divine super mind through the two systems of yang and yin of the original light, the life, and in the other substances. That yang and yin depend infinitely on the divine super mind, or in other words, the divine super mind catalyzes into yang and yin. All sacred states and miracles come from the catalysis by the divine super mind into yang and yin. For men, miraculous and sacred states happen when men can communicate with the divine super mind thanks to yang and yin in men and in the divine super mind. The catalysis by the divine super mind into yang and yin engendered the creatures. From light, the supernatural creatures. From electric and light, the supernatural creatures. And from liquid, qi, electric and light, all contained in the soil, the natural creatures or visible creatures. The catalysis by the divine super-mind into the light was at the greatest level and steadily lowered into electric, Qi, and finally liquid. The creatures that were constituted by only yang light and yin light, meaning the life, animate in the supernatural world. Their life's powers are equal to their life. Therefore, they have no death. Nothing can ever destroy them. They communicate easily with the divine super-mind. The creatures in the supernatural world were formed by electric, yang and yin, and yang light and yin light. Their life's powers are everlasting. They can progress into the supernatural world through ascendant transmutations, meaning from electric into light, or they can degenerate into the natural world through descendant transmutations, meaning from electric into Qi and liquid. The intercommunication between the creatures of this world and the divine super-mind is less effective than that between the creatures in the supernatural world and the divine super-mind. In the natural world, meaning the visible world, the progressions in the cycle of transmutations are not the same among creatures. The creatures on ascendantly transmuted planets have only three substances, namely Qi, electric, and light. Thus, they have improved more than all living beings on the earth. Their intercommunication with the divine super-mind is therefore more effective than that of man on the earth. Thanks to his intercommunication with the divine super-mind, which catalyzed onto yang and yin in the cosmos, man can comprehend the character of Tao, or in other words, can understand the character of the divine super-mind in the movements, meaning in the divine mechanism, the divine character, and the divine cause of each movement. Start a footnote. Tao is neither the way nor religion, nor method, nor something formed by a theory. Tao exists before the creation of the cosmos. The character of Tao is the character of the divine super-mind catalyzing into the yang light and yin light of the three worlds. Or, in other words, in yang and yin, there is the character of the divine super-mind called the character of Tao. It animates in the three supernatural, and natural movements. Yang and yin animate in all of the three worlds of the cosmos. The endless character of Tao of the supernatural world animates in the supernatural Tao, or great Tao. That in the supernatural world animates in the medium Tao, and that in the natural world animates in Tao. All of these three belong to the divine super-mind. Man can discover Tao thanks to the divine mechanism or the divine character or the divine cause of each of the movements, and as a result, man can enter the great Tao, the medium Tao, or Tao. And a footnote. To men, the understanding and comprehension of Tao's character vary from one person to another, from era to era, because of the unequal progresses in using one's senses, or having used one's super senses, or one's sacred sense, thanks to which one can comprehend completely the natural Tao, the medium Tao, or the great Tao, respectively. In other words, the divine super-mind catalyzed into yang and yin of each substance in every world, thus created each Tao for each respective world in the cosmos. To put it differently, the infinite character of Tao of the divine super-mind animates in each of the worlds and in creatures, meaning living beings, through yang and yin of the sacred substances. Any living being that has the character of the Tao of any world belongs to that world. In other words, any living being that can communicate with the character of the Tao of any world can understand the Tao of that world. Yang and Yin in the supernatural world, the supernatural Tao, Great Tao. Great Tao means the divine supermind plus Yang light and Yin light. Tao's character exists in the liveliness of the supernatural world and in the creatures of this world. The divine supermind catalyzed into Yang light and Yin light, and in the liveliness of the movement formed the supernatural world. Yang and Yin electric then animated, in which light animated in latency and engendered the supernatural Tao. The supernatural Tao, or the medium Tao, is caused by the animation of the Yang and Yin character of electric. Start a footnote. Medium Tao is not similar to the middle position in the Confucius theory. All discoveries of Tao by man are called human Tao, which is obtained from the knowledge of the human supermind that derives from and communicates with the divine supermind. The medium Tao belongs to the supernatural world. It connects to the cosmos. This is not a human Tao, which is confined to mankind on the earth or any other planet. The medium Tao spreads all over the supernatural world. And a footnote. The divine supermind influenced the liveliness of Yang and Yin electric and engendered virtues. The animating virtue in the supernatural world and in all creatures of this world is called virtue's character. The light animates within electric, therefore the character of the great Tao also animates in that of the virtues. Medium Tao. Virtue's character plus great Tao's character, or in the animation of virtue's character, there is great Tao's character animating in latency, or the great Tao, meaning the supernatural Tao, exists in the medium Tao. The divine supermind catalyzed into electric, Yang and Yin, in the animation of the supernatural movement and formed the natural world in which Yang Qi and Yin Qi and Yang liquid and Yin liquid animate. Light and electric inhabit and animate in Qi. Then light, electric, and Qi inhabit and animate in liquid. It is the natural Tao. Man knows the natural Tao, commonly known as Tao. The divine supermind in the animation of Qi and the liquid animates and engenders the fortune. The fortune animates in the natural world and in the creatures of this world, called the fortune's character. The fortune's character is the character of the natural Tao. In Qi and liquid exists light and electric. Therefore, in the fortune's character, there are great Tao's character and virtue's character too. Natural Tao means the divine supermind plus Yang and Yin liquid plus Yang and Yin Qi plus Yang and Yin electric plus Yang and Yin light. Natural Tao means fortune's character plus virtue's character and great Tao's character. Virtue's character and the great Tao's character animate in latency in the fortune's character, or in other words, there have always been the medium Tao and the great Tao in the natural Tao. Tao, virtues, fortune, meaning Tao's character, virtue's character, and fortune's character, are genuine. Start a footnote. Genuine. All that are influenced and formed by the divine supermind are called genuine. All that have genuineness or truth persist and belong to the cosmos. They have always existed. All that belong to man are called human. For example, human Tao, human virtue, human fortune. They can last for one epoch. Because Tao is founded by man, it may be right Tao through the communication with the cosmic cause, but without the communication with the cosmic cause, it is evil Tao. Hence, virtue against evil, fortune against disaster or misfortune. Anything depending on the divine supermind is genuine Tao, genuine virtue, and genuine fortune. And in genuine fortune, there is no misfortune. And a footnote. Genuineness has always existed in the cosmos in each of the three worlds. It is persistent and perpetual. Tao's character includes numerous characters of the supernatural Tao, i.e., the great Tao. Virtue's character consists of a great number of characters of the supernatural Tao, or the medium Tao. Fortune's character possesses multifarious characters of the natural Tao, or Tao. The supernatural, and natural Taos have always existed in the cosmos. The divine supermind influenced Yang and Yin and engendered numerous miracles in each of the worlds and in their creatures. Living creatures on the earth have three small worlds that correspond exactly to the three worlds in the cosmos. This corresponding nature gives the living beings the capability to communicate with the three cosmic worlds. Start a footnote. In the life and life powers of man, there are the supernatural, and natural worlds that communicate and correspond to the three cosmic worlds. Therefore, man dominates over all other species on the earth and has the capabilities of ascending transmutation into genius, superman, saints, spiritual beings by following a special or a particular perfection through the character and character's energy of the four sacred substances in man's body. And a footnote. This intercommunication can be realized easily through the divine mechanism, the divine character, and the divine cause that have existed in all creatures, the most marvelous and mysterious of which is man. In the divine mechanism of the cosmos, the divine supermind influenced Yang and Yin to engender the substances and catalyzed the character of the substances to produce Taos, the divine character of each of the worlds. It animates in the substances and characters to give rise to the character's energy, the divine cause in each world. The character's energy of the supernatural world, or the character's energy of the supernatural Tao, great Tao, is the cosmic energy, Yang and Yin light. The divine cause in the supernatural Tao of the supernatural world is called the cause of Tao, or Tao's cause. The character's energy of the supernatural world, or the character's energy of the supernatural Tao, medium Tao, is the mystic power, Yang Yin electric and Yang Yin light. The divine cause in the supernatural Tao of the supernatural world is called the cause of the supernatural truth, or genuine cause. The character's energy of the natural world, or the character's energy of the natural Tao, is refined power, Yang Yin liquid, Yang Yin Qi, plus Yang Yin electric, Yang Yin light. The divine cause in the natural Tao of the natural world is called the logical cause. The divine supermind influenced the cosmos and formed the three cosmic worlds with numberless miracles in Tao, movement, and cause. The great Tao, medium Tao, and Tao constitute the whole and all become one. Start a footnote. Man on the earth separates his life into 3 units of life, or disunites the whole entireness into 3 spheres of activities: material, sentimental and intellectual or moral, and spiritual lives. But in Tao, simultaneously it is spiritual, moral, and material, 3 in 1 and 1 in 3. There is no discrimination nor distinction in Tao. Thus, Tao equals movement, which equals Tao's cause. And a footnote. It is the substance, the character, and the character's energy at the same time. As substance, it belongs to the divine mechanism. As character, it belongs to the divine character, and as character's energy, it flows out from the divine cause. The divine super mind influences the whole cosmos in each of the cosmic worlds and in their creatures. The creatures in the supernatural world were created by yang light and yin light. Their life's powers are equal to the life, the light, animate in Tao's character and get energized by the cosmic energy. They can comprehend the course of Tao. They belong to the supernatural movement and the great Tao. They can communicate directly with the divine super mind. If the creatures are sacred living beings, they have the sacred sense. The creatures of the supernatural world were engendered by yang light and yin light. Their life's powers include electric and light, animate in virtue's character, and get animated by mystic powers. They can understand the cause of the supernatural truth, i.e. the genuine cause. They belong to the supernatural movement and the medium Tao. They have super senses and sacred sense, and they can communicate with the divine super mind only through their sacred sense. The creatures in this natural world are constituted by the 4 cosmic substances, namely liquid, qi, electric, and light. Their life's powers are filled with liquid, blood, and qi, electric and light, animate in the fortune's character and get energized by the refined power. They can comprehend the logical cause. They belong to the natural movement and Tao. The living beings have senses and super senses and the sacred sense too. They can communicate with other creatures in the supernatural world through their super senses and with those in the supernatural world through their sacred sense. They can join and communicate with the divine super mind through the great, medium, and natural Taos. In the natural world, the most marvelous and mysterious living being is man. He possesses all things as the cosmos does, and all things that each of the 3 worlds does. Therefore, within man's body, there are 3 small worlds, meaning the supernatural, the supernatural, and the natural ones, and also 3 Taos, the 3 cosmic movements, the cosmic energy, the mystic power, the refined power, and the characters of Tao, of virtues, and of fortune. Man is a small cosmos in the natural world. Start a footnote. Thanks to Tao, man can communicate with the 3 worlds and integrate into the divine super mind. Thanks to the movement, he can know the motion of creatures in the cosmos and their motion circuits, and can comprehend the movement of life and life powers in his body. Therefore, he can improve to become Superman, saint, supernatural living being, or wise man. Depending on the course, he can live harmoniously with the cosmos, mankind, and other things by following Tao's course, genuine course, genuine Tao, and the logical cause. And the footnote. This man's cosmos has life and life's powers. His life is constant and unchangeable, but his life's powers are unstable due to the two transmutations. Being steady and unchangeable, his life is connected to the divine super-supermind. In other words, since the divine super-supermind animates in his life persists as the life of the cosmos does. This life animates in the three small worlds within man's body and also unifies with the three cosmic worlds. By nature, it is the light or life energizing in the substance of light. It exists in itself and within the other substances of electric, qi, and liquid. Even in the transmutations of the three substances, the light within them still persists. The light, animates in the three worlds and in all of their creatures. The character of life in man is Tao. Tao fills up the three worlds. To be specific, the great Tao, meaning the supernatural Tao, fills the supernatural world. The medium Tao, meaning the supernatural Tao, fills up the supernatural world. And Tao, the natural Tao, fills up the natural world. If the supernatural, and natural worlds pass out, Tao and the cosmos continue to exist. Similarly, the character of life in man still persists, and Tao in man still exists if any of the three small worlds ever disintegrates. The divine super-mind catalyzed in the character's energy, the character, and the substance of light in the substance of life in the cosmos, and engendered the divine cause. The divine cause is the character's energy of life. The divine cause animated in the three cosmic worlds and intercommunicated with man, who, according to his level of understanding, established the Tao's cause, the genuine cause, and the logical cause for mankind. Even if all creatures disappear, the Tao's cause, the genuine cause of supernatural truth, and the logical cause still persists, or in other words, the divine cause consistently exists in the cosmos. For the sake of creation, the divine super-mind affected in the light and generated Tao and the cause, through which creatures can connect and communicate with the divine super-mind. Therefore, Tao and the cause last forever. For that reason, in man, the substance of light is the life, or perpetual life. The character of light in man is Tao, which is also the life. The character's energy is the cause, which is also the life. In summary, the divine super-mind influences man's life under the three miraculous aspects of life, which are light, Tao, and cause. In other words, the life equals the light, which equals Tao, which equals the cause.